Let's talk about how to build a profitable side hustle after your 9 to 5 or your day job without you burning out. Now, if you're watching this video, my take is that you have a job and you want to be able to bring in extra money on the side with a side hustle or a side business. But I'm going to paint a picture of what it used to be like for me when I was working, when my wife was working. And I want to see you to see if you can identify yourself in it. Okay. So a typical day started at 5 a.m. I would wake up and, pray, read the Bible, and get everybody going. And 1.5 hours later, we are literally rushing out of the house with our breakfast in hand and laptops and whatnot because we've got to beat the traffic jam to get our children to school and then drive 5 kilometers to get my wife to her office. And then I drive 3 kilometers back to go to my office. And around 3 or 4, depending on the day of the week, I would have to go and pick up the children from school, bring them with me to the office, or take them to my mother-in-law's or some other place, an auntie or an uncle's place, as we wait for my wife to call and say, you can come and pick me up. Officially, she knocked off at 4:30, but sometimes we'll wait up until 8 or 9 sometimes. And then we have to drive another 17 kilometers back here to where we live. And sometimes it was through 1.5 hours of detours because the roads were being redone in the city. By the time we get home, we are so exhausted. We barely have energy for each other. We just, if we ate at all. But, that was a typical day. And the last thing you want to be able to do is to start up, looking for side hustles. People, when you watch on YouTube, the side hustles people talk about is like do an Uber or do this, and it's basically just another job or a service. But if you're coming home late at night, you don't have that luxury. So I said to myself, let me do a business that is within what I do. So spoke to my wife about it, spoke to my boss. He was gracious enough to say, as long as it doesn't interfere with your work, go for it. And very thankful for that. Now, I started selling food supplements that were being sold by a MLM company, multi-level marketing. We'll come back to that. But here's a product that was helping people with a certain problem. It was being marketed as a one in all solution for everybody, but I discovered that there was a particular type of condition that it was helping people with. So I started marketing hard in that area using Facebook and WhatsApp statuses. And we ended up not long after that earning $500 plus per month. We never hit 1,000, but we hit 500, sometimes $700. And we had a loan at the time with the bank, and we were able to start servicing that loan even much quicker. So it was good. We were able to do other things besides which we had always wanted to do as a family. But being an MLM, if you know anything about network marketing companies, usually the math don't work out and the things just basically starts to eat itself. And in one other video, I did talk about how people got angry. They wanted their money back, although even I was also losing money. And as a pastor, I got threats of people saying, "We'll come to your church and we'll cause havoc," and all these things. It was nasty. Okay, but I learned something about side hustles from that experience. And it was this: if you're going to do a side hustle, pick a proven business model, make it one that lasts, but also make it one that is built around what you already do. So I would do my deliveries before I go to work. I would have people come to the office at lunch hour to pick up the product, and some even after working hours. So it worked out really well. It was a little bit more work, but I didn't mind because we were meeting our financial goals. We were going towards meeting our financial goals at the time. So pick a business model that is proven. And this is where YouTube comes in. I started this YouTube channel in 2008. So I went back to it. I said, let me go back to doing side hustles online. And I basically discovered that people were wanting me to do another job, remote jobs at night, or the ones that don't require experience and so on. But I quickly realized that getting another job is not the thing that I want to do after a whole day's work. If you identify with that, let me know. But these are the things that people don't talk about. They talk about an online side hustle is just 30 minutes per day and you're done and so on. I'm sure they are there, but what they don't talk about is the backstory, the backstage, what happens backstage. And I continued to hunt and I discovered something. I needed to make a time sacrifice. So I pushed everything back an hour to 4 a.m. If you look at some of my oldest videos on this channel, you'll see that I'm recording in the timestamps down there, I'm recording at 4 a.m. and so on. But I needed to make that adjustment in order to do things when I am at my best, which is the morning. I'm a morning person. My wife is the total opposite. But this is when I could do something fresh with clear mind. I also realized that I had to guard my time jealously and do things when I'm at my best, even during the days of the week. So, the finding ideas for videos, planning them, and just figuring out what is it am I going to sell? Am I going to do coaching? Will I be available to talk with the people? Because when you're burnt out from the day's activities, the last thing you want to do is to sit in front of a Zoom and you're dozing and you're trying to help somebody. That's not going to work. So it went to weekends or the times when I'm fresh and things like that. So you need to find that not everybody is the same. Take, for instance, a nurse who is working the night shift. They have to have 3 days of recovery just from the 4 days that they have worked night shifts. It's not one size fits all. So you need to find a time where you are at your most, your best, which is why I find whatever it is you're going to sell plus YouTube is usually the perfect match because once you make a YouTube video, it stays there for as long as it's relevant, as long as nothing happens to your channel. The fulfillment of the thing depends on what you're selling, whether it's an ebook or a checklist or something. But if you're doing coaching or you're running a membership site, that's a totally different ballgame. Okay, so the idea is you want a side hustle where you don't want to increase the things that make you burn out. Otherwise, you're going to pay a really, really heavy price. Okay, so it also helps to be in a community where people understand what it is you're trying to get to, or you have some kind of accountability. It might be your husband, your wife, your children, or a friend, or an online community. It does help for you to keep going because this can be a lonely game doing a side hustle. So, with that having said, I hope I have shared something that is helpful with you in building a side hustle after you do your day job without burning out. As somebody who has burnt out so many times and also has done side hustles, I know a thing or two about it, and I'm willing for us to talk, which is what I do right now because I'm no longer working. I am home much of the time, and I have the time to be able to talk with people. So if that is you, book a call with me, and we're going to get to talk about this. Peace to you. I'll see you in this video.